Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the WGLNA Season 2 playoffs. I'm your host, Christian Toma. To my left, David Williams. Make sure to check us out on Facebook and YouTube /WGLNA. If you're not watching this on BattleViewer.com, go over there right now and check it out. And finally, follow us on Twitter @WGLNA so you guys can stay up to date what's happening in the community around you, and also answer for us the ever-changing question of the day. Not that the question changes, but the answer.
Which teams do you think will reach the live finals? I am, before you even get started, I'm going to say Noble and Simp. Obviously, we can cut it down to 2 teams now.
That's a good call.
I'm not going to weigh in on this. Both teams I picked didn't make it.
Nope.
Well, actually, no. Wait, 07 and Eclipse. So Eclipse still has to go. But I'm not going to even remotely chance the idea that I'm giving a caster curse anything here.
I like that. Keep it safe.
Nope.
We're not going to say anything because we want this to be as fair as possible. But you guys can let us know right now in chat who you think are the 2 teams from tonight's playoffs who will be joining Noble and Zim for the live finals in Las Vegas, February 27th, for a shot at $75,000. So let's pull up the bracket right now, guys. For the playoffs, up first, it was Color Wanted versus Aquatic M60's. Color has moved on to face off against eClipse, which is happening next. And what will be happening after this match is going to be High Voltage versus Rival, who just won against 07 5-1. So again, that is what we've got. There are 2 more matches left. So what that means is whichever team wins right now for this match is the one that's going on. Whichever team wins for the next match is the one that's going on. So it's either between Eclipse and Color Wanted right now, and the face-off is ready. Let's get right into it on the side of Eclipse. On the side of Color Wanted, gentlemen, welcome to the face-off.
Hey.
All right. Oh, hey, it's good to see you. It's good to see you again, Lemming Rush. Good to see you again. So, Eclipse, going to go ahead and start off with you guys. My question is, as you are in here for the playoffs, congratulations, first of all, to making it this far. Is it at all nerving to you that Color Wanted has had a warm-up game? They are now ready. They have just come off of a victory, and they are now kind of primed to battle. Can you hear me, Eclipse?
Oh, my bad.
So fine. I'll re-ask again unless you heard that.
Call was a bit slow. I don't know what that was about.
No worries. You want me to re-ask it?
Yes, please.
All right, so knowing that Color Wanted has already had a game to warm up, they have a victory now under the belt for tonight, do you feel that kind of sets you off in any way? Are you worried about that? They're kind of primed and ready to go?
No, not at all.
Cool. All right, I love it. This is the kind of things I'm expecting, right? These 2 teams, not going to show any weakness, not going to show any sort of fear between the teams, so best
Except
of luck.
for weakness and connection, of course.
Best of luck to both you guys as we continue.
It's talking about internet connections.
Right.
All righty, Pupil. Now, this is potentially the last chance that Eclipse has to address its fans and viewers. Is there anything you would like to say to them?
First of all, I'd like to say that even though we were the underdog right in the beginning of the season, even throughout the middle of the season, the few supporters we had in the beginning, I'd like to thank you all, and all the supporters we have now, which we have many. I'd like to thank you as well.
All right, I also
You're
like.
welcome.
You're
welcome.
I like the logo change too, guys. It looks pretty sweet.
Oh, thank you.
Pretty
We
sweet
spent,
indeed.
3 years trying to figure out that
Wow.
logo. The font alone was a big pain. Trying to figure out.
The 3 years paid off. It looks awesome, guys. Now let me rush back over to you again. Welcome back. Congratulations on the first victory of the night. Just 1 more to go, and you'll be making it to the finals. So my question for you is, now that Eclipse has had a chance to watch you guys perform and play, do you feel like there's anything that you need to switch up now going into the next battle against them?
No. Nothing at all, honestly.
Great. That confident. Can't wait to see if that pays off for you guys.
So do you have any comments you want to make about that last battle, Lemming Rush, or perhaps what your thoughts on that specifically, or how well it prepared you for this upcoming battle?
The last battle was really, really, fun. We watched it on stream, and, we were down 2,000 hit points or so, and we came back. So as long as we keep playing like we did and don't get any DCs or whatever, that'd be amazing. I think we can do really well.
All right, again, well, best of luck, guys, to both of you before we get started. And before we get started, Pupil, anything I'd like to say to Lemming Rush before we get into the battle?
Yeah, so I saw your interview, so I thought I'd ask 2 of my own questions. Okay, so the first one would be, I was promised a reroll session. You were going to teach me how to reroll. And then the second one is, when we go to Vegas, what pictures do you want me to take?
Oh, Lemming Rush, your response.
Well, like I said, for your reroll, I would suggest you get good enough to 3 mark at tier 10. If you want to reroll right now, though, you should probably stick to tier 6. So
Oh my!
wait until then, and then give it a shot. For your second one, we're going to be in Vegas, so...
Finally, some crazy shots being fired between both of the teams. Gentlemen, best of luck to both of you, and we'll see you shortly. Let's get into this battle. Let's get into this battle just right now as these guys are just gnashing at each other's throats.
Spicy face-off that one.
Spicy face-off indeed.
There you have it. There are the 2 team rosters. Honestly, we've already covered these a dozen times, and there's just too many great players on both teams to really particularly highlight anybody.
Sure.
Let's go ahead and get into that Fantasy WGL match preview. These being live updated, by the way. So, eClipse has played Prohorovka the most. They've used the 140 the most, and Master Pupil is currently their top scorer. For Caller Wanted, they played Cliff the most, T22, and Delth is now their top scorer.
Oh, all right. Well, hey, Del, coming in top. Congratulations to that. Again, like you said, a very spicy interview. It's such a contrast between what we saw between Rifle and 07, like 2 guys singing together and having a great time. Awesome and amazing. And now you get these 2 teams like just at each other's throats, getting ready to battle, which I'm excited to see as we're going to be starting out onto mines here for our first battle, our first map of our 3rd match of the night. And again, one of these 2 teams, ladies and gentlemen, will be making it to Vegas to join Noble and Simp for the finals happening on February 27th. Right now in chat, let us know who you think is going to take it. David, between these 2 teams, though, we talked about, if Carl wanted to make it, you feel a little more confident that eClipse is going to be the one to take this one home.
Possibly, but I wasn't expecting Caller Wanted to play like they did in that last set.
Right. Oh, right. We're not
I
supposed to
wasn't
be saying
expecting
things.
anything that happened in these past 2 battles.
Yeah,
so
that's
far, to
right.
be
Sorry.
honest.
We're not supposed to be saying a single
This
thing
season,
right now.
I mean, every season always has a certain amount of variance up and down, but this season it probably takes the cake in the overall amount of teams playing up and down and
Yeah.
whole new styles,
yeah. Welcome.
players being added to teams, that making a huge difference.
Yeah. Welcome to Tier 10. How awesome is Tier 10, guys? And now we are getting ready to go into the first battle of our 3rd match. One of these 2 teams is moving on to the finals. Will it be Eclipse? Will it be Caller Wanted? Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for our tanks.
Eclipse, sporting a new logo if you check out that top.
Look
left here
at-
in a second. An IS-7, a Bat Shadow 140, 2 T22s, a TVP, and an RU-251. Caller Wanted with an IS-7, 2 907s, 2 T22s, a TVP, and an M40, M43 on defense.
You got Dr. Halo.
See how well it works out for them, and that indeed is the only reason why I even hesitate
Give it the... Yeah.
to
Yeah.
consider whether it's going to give it shots or not. So far, Dr. Halo is a magician and a doctor, man of many hats. But Eclipse is no team to toy around with such types of volatile strategies.
Look at this.
If this is very meta, then Caller Wanted can certainly bring home wins using things like this, and we're already seeing big split coming out of Eclipse in record time, and Caller Wanted's probably going to push very hard in the middle.
Let's see what happens here once they start spotting him out. A little bit of damage going to Tigers, but now there it is. Mort being spotted. T1 Diabetic being spotted as well. Some shots going across there. Nothing connecting yet onto Caller Wanted. Let's see how they respond with this. If they'll be too distracted by what's happening behind them, or if they'll find the overmatch that they clearly have by pushing over on a Master Pupil and Tigers. It looks like they're turning around, and they're going to get punished for it. 12:44. They're going right into Lemming Rush. 300, a low roll, one more shot, and he'll be going down in that T22. Carl is going to be the one to pick it up. T1 Diabetic quickly finding aggressor right after. And now Smiley Rage looks like he's on the chopping block. Delth also taking some shots there. 441 going to 907. A couple more, and he'll be going down. A track shot coming out there from Mort. And a few more, and Smiley Rage is going to have to bid this battle adieu. 350, and there it is. Brett finding another kill. It's good to see Brett again. We haven't seen him play since he's been put on. He's only been, like, this might be only his like, 2nd match overall in the season here. Delph taking 463, 6 minutes and 15 seconds on the clock. Only 4 tanks remain for Caller Wanted. Eclipse has not lost a single one, and there goes another one for Caller, for Eclipse.
Oh. Dr. Halo even getting in a shot on T1 Diabetic, but not enough, even with a chip in from Magenta Panda there. T1 Diabetic will take him down. Just Magenta Panda and Delth left to hold the line for Caller Wanted and buy them a little bit more time to go back to the drawing board after an horrendously failed defense, and a great aggressive play from Eclipse.
Now this is the time that you do want to try to buy almost like a free timeout here for Color Wanted. Tigers takes down Magenta Panda, leaving just Delph. They know where he is. A nice shot there on a T1 Diabetic, but it's not going to be enough as the rest of Eclipse start barreling down on his position. Morton is going to go for the ram. He's not going to get it. Bubble Boy Carl is going to pick that one up, and Eclipse is going to find their first victory in an amazing way. Not like, oh, that was a close one. I mean, that was a decisive victory coming out for Eclipse. That is a way to instill fear into the heart of Color Wanted.
Absolutely. Let's go ahead and get the stats over and done with, and then we'll break that down very quickly. 21-21 out of Delph, 2,000 out of Fixer Reloaded. Everybody else falling below 1,500 over here, however, for Eclipse. 2,400 out of Bubble Boy Carl. 2,300 out of T1 Diabetic. 2,300 out of Mort. 1,900 out of Master Pupil, Brett with 1,500, Tigers with 1,300, and Dark God Zim chipping in his own 500 damage on top of that. Now, if we were to discuss artillery on the defensive side of Mines, and I had to pick a single game out of everything we've seen and just show whoever was considering it why I don't like it, it would be that one. Because very, very easily, I doubt if the artillery wasn't there that Eclipse would have gone that fast, that aggressively for that movement. But all they did is they looked at it and they said, if we drive here with a lot of tanks, the M40 can't even hit him. We'll park the other two tanks in places they can't hit, and the last guy is an RU-251. And if he fires at him, great. Like, he's either going to miss or he's going to shoot a tank that won't matter at that point. Now, the only thing I can even comment on about Eclipse right there is they potentially could have stopped at the base of that hill and nuked 907 immediately.
They didn't.
They didn't. But they still picked it up. They still picked up everything else. They got the TVP down there in the end. Just huge openings from Color Wanted. Eclipse recognized them immediately, jumping on him, just driving that match straight into the win column.
Well, that's exactly what we talked about. When you even said it, when we're talking about clips in the last two between Rival and 07, you look at the lineup and you say, what can we do here? What are they going to do? And they saw an opening. They took it. They collapsed upon it, very aggressively picking up the first victory of our third match. We're switching sides. Let's get right into it again and take a look at this time what we've got for our tanks.
4 clips, an E5, a bat shot, a 907, a T22, a TVP, and 2 T54s for Color Wanted. 2 IS7s, a bat shot, 2 T22s, a 62A, and the Doctor is back in the M40, M43. Decidedly less of a problem strategically for the team that uses it on the offensive side. In fact, Dr. Halo could be a significant impact on this game. But the ultimate key here, looking lineup to lineup, would be a very aggressive move to the hill to guarantee control from Eclipse. But it is a gigantically risky play. But with one bat shot T1 Diabetic, looks like he might be able to get it. He does commit, and he goes all the way up.
Magenta Panda, a lot of the members for Color Wanted actually lighting him up. 947 going into T1 Diabetic, but Eclipse did get a lot of fire back upon Color Wanted. Smiley Rage taking some damage there. Lemming Rush continuing to take shots there in that T22. And now Eclipse has a bat chat fully loaded on top of the hill. Let's see what they can do with this. They are on defense. Dr. Halo, though, is a pretty scary member if they start stalling out on top.
Aggressor going for a quick flank down the 3 line. He may get proxy spotted. Nope, slips right by Dark God Zim within meters of being proxy spotted. Now he gets spotted. Bubble Boy Carl's there in a T54, and there is a TVP, TVP to back him up as the rest of Eclipse manages all of Color Wanted's tanks bottled up, and they are going to try and counter push perhaps here to prevent it getting away from T1 Diabetic, who's going to put a clip into the rear side of their tanks.
There you go, Mortho being set on fire up on top of the hill. 9 in the 907 there. Aggressor might be going down. He has no more shots. Bubble Boy Carl is now free to take him down, and that is the first tank fallen for Color Wanted. Meanwhile, Lemming Rush up here extremely low. He goes down to Brett in the T22. 2 tanks gone. Delph holding on with just 39 points of HP. A breeze could end that IS7. He has got to be extremely careful. The last shot from T1 Diabetic is going to help Dark God Zim take down Fix Reloaded. Master Pupil takes down Delph. And ladies and gentlemen, we are seeing clear domination coming out for Eclipse here onto Mines. Tigers did take a shot there from Dr. Halo on that M40, M43. Carl, though, finishing off Magenta Panda, leaving just Smiley Rage, who cannot really go anywhere right now. Bubble Boy Carl going in for a Koopa! He grazes off the top of his tank, and that is a way to take down an enemy in style! Wow, 15 style points going out to Eclipse right there.
And case you've never seen a tank do a rail slide, that's the
That was
first time.
That was it.
Clearly doesn't look like he put a lot of wax on that tank. A lot of friction. Didn't really work out. As T1 Diabetic gets the spotting on Dr. Halo and a combination fire. Takes down Dr. Halo and another full survival round for eClipse.
One thing that I also want to mention is the fact that while in playoffs, people are able to do plays like that. I mean, you got to be as eClipse like, hey, we just got a Goomba. I just rolled off a tank. I mean, that's so anti-tilt.
This is what I expect to see all season long. This is an understanding of minds, knowing what they have to do given the lineups.
Yeah.
And granted, we've talked a lot about backing off, letting the opponent make mistakes, all that kind of stuff, right? But when you put everything on the line in the playoffs, that's not really the time to play that game, especially if you feel like you have a strategic oversight or a strategic command over what's going on. Let's get into the stats. Make sure we don't miss out on them.
I'm telling you, though, man, that Goomba.
2,500 out of Smiley Rage for Caller Wanted, 1,800 out of Dr. Halo, but none of it's super critical. Magenta Panda with 1,400, 1,000 out of Delph. Meanwhile, for eClipse, 2,200 out of Dark God Zam, 2,000 out of Mort. T1 Diabetic with 1,900, 1,700 out of Master Pupil, 1,700 out of Bubble Boy Carl, 1,600 out of Tigers, and 151 out of Brett. Everyone on the team breaking 1,000. And almost everyone getting a kill.
Every single member over 1,000 there. And again, the thing,
not dead.
The thing that I want to point out
2 7-0s in a row.
Clear. Yeah, clean. This is dominant. This is like the stuff we saw 07 do on Mines when it was like, wow, this is 07's game. This is 07's map completely. From eClipse doing the same
thing.
From
the defensive side, especially lineup v lineup, it's better than what 07 did.
Really?
Offensive side, just as good so far, and we'll see. We'll see. This is the kind of authoritative play that gets me fired up. It's why I love this map in particular, because I feel like it's one of the easiest ones to break down and understand.
And just do it well.
And the nature of it forces you to play in an aggressive, showboating kind of way. And eClipse showing exactly how it needs to be done if you're playing perfect team head-to-head. That is the only way to bring it home.
eClipse looking like they are on fire, on track to the finals. Let's see if Caller Wanted can do anything to stop them. Let's get right back into it and take a look at what we've got for tanks.
For eClipse, an IS-7, a Bat Shadow, 140, 2 T-22s, a TVP, and an RU-251. For Caller Wanted, an IS-7, 2 907s, 2 T-22s, a TVP, and they brought the M40, M43 again. And so for them, they're going to put it in a different position, because if they put it back in the bottom right and eClipse just does the same thing over again, it's probably GG. It depends on how meta Caller Wanted wants to get with it. They've got to put a lot more tanks middle to survive that. But really, the best option is to move the artillery into a different place and position yourself for all possible situations here. eClipse may not be looking for that same kind of play, spreading out far more to the middle this time than they did last time. And so far, no early picks. But Dark God Zim getting a lot of spotting on the side of Caller Wanted.
Shot there going into Mort from Magenta Panda. Nothing connecting with the shot from Mort does. Smiley Rage also taking a little bit of damage there in that 907. The only one who has taken a shot on the side of eClipse is Carl. And he's 140 here. Wow, Smiley Rage is getting set on fire. That's the fourth time in a row that a tank has been set on fire tonight. 1,300 points of damage there going right into Smiley Rage, and he is now has to be extremely careful with his positioning. And eClipse does not want to stop it. They sent Brett, the T-22, taking a lot of damage, but they do now have hill control. Let's see what Dr. Halo can do to hopefully start bringing Caller Wanted back in this battle, as they are now down over 1,500 points of HP.
Brett now in the biggest risk position out of all. A little bit open to that M40, M43, but getting a lot of critical spotting. It will be difficult for him to get away from this position, but if he knows that Dr. Halo is reloading, now would be the time to run, unless he is not worried about that splash. He's in a T-22, so it's not a hugely dangerous situation for him. More to risk from Delph, but also safe there. Smiley Rage getting lit up by Tigers, and Tigers gets the first pick of the match.
There he goes, a 907 now dropping for Caller Wanted. Tigers taking a shot, it looked like, from Dr. Halo for a good chunk of damage there in the 50-51. So if Caller Wanted can continue to find these, possibly they can come back, but with a tank down to 907, the eClipse has such control of this map.
eClipse, if they show that same presence of mind they've showed all throughout, knows exactly what they need to do right now. Simply pull Tigers off of the island, maintain a skeleton force to hold the hill and the approach to the hill, take everything else down the right side, and capture all three of these tanks. Fixer, Magenta Panda, Lemming Rush, 2 T-22s and an IS-7, all in the kill zone. Directly underneath that hill is death.
Spicy. Let's see if eClipse can see it. And what they're going to do right now, Magenta Panda and Lemming Rush proxy spotting Brett potentially for Dr. Halo to fire down upon an artillery in that M40, M43. Lemming Rush actually being sent away now. He's spotted the entire time. Fixed Reloaded and Master Pupil exchanging a little bit of fire there. Fixed Reloaded, though, is a lot less healthy than Master is, both in IS-7s. What we've got from eClipse is a little bit of a rotation going around here. Now the 50-51 Drew My Tigers taking a shortcut over Carl and Two Diabetic. Is there a risk in that, or is there a reason why he was doing that?
Always a little bit of risk, but he needs the timing of this push more than anything else. That's actually a great play. They don't want to let that intelligence spoil. They're going to drive right into these buildings and use the cover to fire directly into Magenta Panda.
T1 Diabetic, the first one to get spotted off here. He takes a little bit of shots. Tiger does. You want a Magenta Panda now on the chopping block. 4 caller wanted. He's going to be going down. There it is. T1 Diabetic picks that one up, and Fix Reload now taking some shots. David, look at eClipse. 7 members are still up for this team, and it looks like they want to continue that, as Fixer should be going down here with one more shot from T1 Diabetic. There it is, picking that one up in the bat chat, leaving Delta, Lemming Rush, and Aggressor. Dr. Halo taking 278 there in the M40, M43. One more shot, and he'll be going down now, and it's Aggressor. 13-10, he goes down to Tigers. eClipse is unstoppable. They are a killing machine here in our third match of the playoffs, and they have their eyes set on the finals, no doubt. T1 Diabetic just ramming Dr. Halo there.
Who needs shells?
No,
T1
you don't need ammo. Don't waste those rounds here when you can use your tank. Lemming Rush and Bubble Boy Carl now going head-to-head here. Dark God Zim taking a little bit of damage, but they're going to collapse down upon Delph. 2 members on Color Wanted. eClipse, let's see if they can hold that 7-tank domination. Tigers takes down Lemming. As long as Bubble Boy Carl does not fall, they will finish this battle out with 7 members again, 3 times in a row. I don't think I've seen that kind of domination this entire season, David.
Nor have I. This is what I've been looking for. Matches like this, the 07 match, and some of those close tiebreakers like Caller Wanted in 07 before that are why I came back. What I love to see about this game. And Delph goes down to Mort as eClipse extends the lead 3-0, keeping another 7 tanks alive.
That's 3 aces back to back to back. If you're Caller Wanted right now, I just cannot imagine the feeling on that team. I mean, not if they're close battles, it's, I guess, less painful, but when you get 7-0 3 times in a row, how do you come back from that?
Feels bad, man.
Oh.
Feels bad. Let's go ahead and get into the stats.
Get a Goomba.
Delph with 2172, Lemming Rush with 1700 and 1500 out of Dr. Halo. Meanwhile, for eClipse again, go from bottom to top here. 400 out of Dark God Zem, but some critical spotting. 861 out of Brett. 1,800 out of T1 Diabetic, 1,900 out of Tigers, 2,300 out of Mort, 2,400 out of Master Pupil, and 2,600 out of Bubble Boy Carl.
I mean, this is following the trend of what happened last time. Looking back, when eClipse for this regular season faced off against Caller Wanted, they beat them 5-2. So it wasn't a super close match. Whereas the Quadcom 60s took them to a tiebreaker. But now that Caller has moved on and is facing off against eClipse, yeah, they're just doing the same thing over again.
I don't think the first opponent or whoever was going to be playing eClipse was going to matter unless it was going to change the maps away from mines, perhaps. But really, eClipse is just showing a type of game we haven't seen from them or even a handful of people in the entire season long.
Yeah.
And this is how play is done. All of the solutions. We've talked a lot about mines and how previously I've spent a lot of time looking at it.
Well, this is your team's
eClipse is
map.
doing it. They're doing it in the right times with the right decisions with the right tanks. It's great. It's great.
Keep it up, guys. Just keep it up. Just 2 more victories away from going into the live finals. They've got to be feeling so good as a team right now. They're up 3-0. Those 3 kills have been aces after one after another. Let's see if they can make it 4 victories. And if they can make it, I'm not going to say anything. If they can make it 4 victories, or can Caller Wanted come back, picking up just 1 onto mines. Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got. 4 tanks, staying away from the caster curse there.
eClipse with an E5, a 907, a T22, 2 TVPs, and 2 T54s for Caller Wanted, 2 IS7s, a Bad Chat, 2 T22s, a 62.8, and RU251. A significantly better lineup for pushing the hill than they had before, and that may be exactly what they need to do. Meet eClipse head-to-head and hope they've got what it takes to stop them, because I don't know if eClipse is going to mess around with this. After smelling so much blood in the water, now is the time to take your opponent by the throat and finish off this map 4-0.
Just clamp down and do not let go. It's got to be the thought process coming with Eclipse. Also, look at that lineup. 13,000 points of HP even. So thank you for that. Looks good. Nice, clean way to end out the fourth battle of the night. Tigers doing something that we haven't really seen a lot of teams do. I mean, obviously it looks like it's just kind of a scouting round. It'll be interesting to see if he kind of spots up over here. He's going
looking for some rear angles from a position at C9 to get shots in behind Caller Wanted. Aggressor spotting Tigers, or knowing he's spotted in return, and Caller Wanted is going to start muscling up middle to try and take advantage of that if there's a takeout. But Delth getting lit up for almost 1,100 damage.
Now 373 again. That's over 1,300 in that I7. A couple more shots, he'll be going down. Eclipse just not even getting punished for this. They're just pushing and finding shots, and Caller Wanted, it looks like they're just helpless. They can't do anything in return here. And if Eclipse can continue to do this, they're going to find a tank for free. Last time the IS7 went down just like that, the snowball went.
Here we go. T1 Diabetic joining Tigers and getting ready to come around from behind Caller Wanted and put the final nails in this coffin. From Eclipse's standoff positions with 2 T-54s in the lineup, they're good no matter where Caller Wanted goes. Those TVPs are fast enough. They'll get in there. If Eclipse knew that the Caller Wanted's bat shot was so far to the west and they may spot him soon, it's going to be over. But here it comes. Eclipse joining up those 2 TVPs and getting ready to go. Meanwhile, a little bit of rotation down the west side from Caller Wanted. Eclipse still towing the water just a tad, but once this gets kicked off, it's going to get ugly real fast if those TVPs can hit their shots.
The bullet is in the chamber, and here goes the trigger as Tigers is spotted out. Now Caller Wanted knows they're getting surrounded. Eclipse should start pushing here, and we'll see what this spells for Caller Wanted. Can they be able to come back from this? A Smiley Rage takes 1331 in that T62A. Damage going on to Delth. Damage going on to Fix Reloaded. Damage going on to pretty much every member right now of Caller Wanted, who's on top of the hill there. Smiley Rage is now going down to Brett, finishing him off there on top of the hill in that T22. And now Delth, Carl just going over the top, putting his tank straight down into that, taking the shot. 2 tanks gone for Caller Wanted. Mort has to be careful, though. Aggressor has come from behind. He got a nice little shot there on that 907. T1 Diabetic, though, is just going to come in, take down Fix Reloaded, and now he's looking for Magenta Panda. The rest of Eclipse just focusing down. Carl, again, coming off the top, so close to a Goomba. Dr. Halo does find Mort. That is the first tank of all 4 battles going down for Eclipse. Carl finishing off Magenta Panda there, leaving just Lemming Rush, Aggressor, and Dr. Halo to fight on the side of Caller Wanted. Lemming Rush backing off here, but he might not be able to get out just in time. Eclipse not as confident to do as what they did last time, which was send a couple of tanks flying off, as there are still 3 tanks left here. They can't be crazy. They still have a game to play, and if they do misplay, Caller Wanted can come back. Brett and Carl are very low, both Master People and Dark Gods in for Eclipse below half HP, but they have 6 tanks against Caller Wanted's 3, and that is just that's a great place to be in for your Eclipse.
Aside from the guarantee of strategic control and winning the map, it's always a good idea to try and conserve as many hit points as possible. Even if it's only 1 tank left and you know it's in the bag, you just want the enemy team to always feel like they never had the satisfaction. Like you're going to play so precise and so professional that they're never going to get free shots in. And that just slowly, or in some cases rapidly, crushes your opponent's entire morale system, their entire outlook on the match, as they feel like they get outclassed very quickly. And that word is certainly applicable to how well Eclipse has played Caller Wanted on mines right now. Caller Wanted getting purely outclassed strategically on mines by Eclipse.
Bubble Boy Carl going very aggressive over the hill to try to find a shot. Looks like on a Dr. Halo, not quite finding it. Aggressor taking some damage now. Lemming Rush getting shot from the back there. 1 shot going at him, 290. And that T22, Dr. Halo trying to chip in there in his RE251. Tigers takes down Aggressor, and with that, that looks like it's going to be Eclipse so confidently crushing down on the Lemming Rush. Lemming Rush taking down Carl there. Master Pupil actually having a tough time reloading there. Lemming Rush will beat him to it. Will Lemming Rush take him down, though? No, Master Pupil not even going to give him a chance, leaving just Dr. Halo alive in that RU251. Let's go over and check that out there. 3:15 on the clock. They know where he's at. Eclipse is just going to, again, clamp down onto the throats of Caller Wanted. Caller Wanted getting a lot more off of eClipse this time than last time, but still a victory with 5 tanks up. They haven't even dropped 2.
Honestly, with the strategy they're running from the defensive side, it's built to assume like 2 or 3 tank deaths
Will be gone.
Absolutely.
Interesting.
You expect it. You expect it. It's all trades that you're 100% okay with. It's just
Man.
like, well, yeah, sure, they'll get some tanks.
Oh.
We're going to take some risks. They'll get some damage. But when it really comes down to it, we'll get the right positions and we'll win. And eClipse just showing
They did that.
showing a type of game that I just did not expect. I mean, don't get me wrong. I talked to people from all teams, and eClipse was very confident. We will win. We will win. And I'm like, yeah, sure. Everybody says they will win.
Okay.
But
prove it. You're proving it.
I believe you now.
Yeah.
I believe you now.
Yeah.
That was well done. Let's get into the stats.
I believe what people said about sending those pictures.
Most perfect set of minds I've seen since I came back in the calling. Lemming Rush with 2,400. Dr. Halo with 2,200. 2,000 out of Aggressor. And we hear the caller one just took a timeout. Meanwhile, Master Pupil with almost 3,500 damage. 2,900 out of T1 Diabetic. 2,200 out of Dark Gods Zim. Bubba Boy Carl, 1,600. TVP driven by Tigers with 1,500. And even Mort and Brett, tier 10s. I mean, look how well those T-54s were played. How well they're positioned. Just great.
I mean,
That's great.
Seeing T-54s shine like that is something that I don't really remember you pointing out very much during the season.
Well, they're great tanks, but it really depends on where you put them. They either get focused or they don't get the time. But when you work the southern side of the hill like that, you know the positions and you know how to push somebody down. And then when they go down, where to take, what you're willing to risk to take the top of the hill. Once you get the hill, where can they go? And certain parts of the map are just kill zones.
Okay.
Underneath the hill,
When you
on
push
either
around?
side,
That's one of them.
are kill zones.
Yeah.
Because even if you have 7 there, when they come around and flank you from both sides, they've got position and they've got concave fire.
Yeah,
on
they're
going to
focus on one person.
And then that's just the snowball. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah,
So
that
everything
target's
goes
down, that target's down,
It
that
is
target's
just a
down.
full understanding. If they can see this, and it's not just
Listen.
It's not just studying strategies or studying this map or perhaps things that have been around in the past and modeling yourself after that. But in fact, if it's a pure understanding of what went on there and they can apply that to other maps,
No telling where they're going to stop.
no telling where they're going to stop. They could threaten Noble with that kind of understanding and that kind of
What?
play. And you notice how the confidence of their strategic outlook changes everything. All of a sudden, every time eClipse is poking and taking damage, every one of their shots is hitting and penning.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because when you cook a strategy and a map down to these kinds of things, it's almost like you're playing a turn-based system and not live play.
You do a turn.
You're just like, oh,
do a turn.
your chance to fire, and I'm going to hit you 4 times, and we're going to win. And that's just how
it's like the wars of old. They're like volley, set up, fire, your turn, fire back. But this time,
Yeah, exactly.
Eclipse coming out
exactly.
way more
Except
on
they've
top.
got a small group of guys, and you've got an entire army, and it's like, I volley, and then you volley. Oh wait, you don't have anybody left.
Oh, you
after
do
the
one
first
shot. We do a bunch. Well,
Yeah.
and that was the thing on the top of the hill. Watching Eclipse push over,
Like muskets versus shotguns. It's
Folk-
like I'm gonna win.
just not super fair there.
It depends on distance.
Well, I was gonna say shotguns and muskets. My house
getting all
shots
pedantic
there.
here.
No, it's fine. But with Eclipse on top of the hill, like just like you pointed out there, it was mind blowing watching them push over, fire down onto Caller Wanted. Caller Wanted, I'm like, why aren't you firing back? Why aren't you taking your shots back? And it just seemed like they just were scared to. There was like,
No,
uh,
it's not even fear. They can't.
Oh,
If you
it's just
study
that
that map
good.
well enough,
Really?
you can do what Eclipse
Well,
did to almost anybody
Eclipse broke
who
the game.
isn't as good at it as you are and knows the linchpin spots.
Well done, Eclipse, for showing your dominance here on Minds and getting that praise from David Williams is not an easy thing. And right now, one game away from guaranteeing their spots in the live finals. Can they find it, or can Caller Wanted come back from a 4-0 deficit? Let's go right into it and take a look at what we've got for tanks.
If I see something here, it's going to blow my mind. Eclipse with 2 140s, a 907, 2 T22s, 62A, and an AMX 1390. Caller wanted on defense with 2 E5s, a bad shot, 2 T22s, a 62A, and an M40, M43. Again with the artillery on defense this time. I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know. I mean, it's Dr. Halo, but
that's Eclipse that we're just watching.
I don't know. Yeah, exactly. It's the entire team of Eclipse, and strategically, it's just not even good from that position. You're firing essentially at a higher elevation from a lower elevation, and it's going to make all your shots shallow. The angles are going to be bad. You're going to catch terrain all the time. Very few places where it's actually going to have good firing examples. But besides that, firing solutions. But besides that, If Eclipse had just gone hard into the east right now, and they had it as rehearsed as they did Mines, this would be over. This would be over in the next minute and a half.
Really?
But I understand that. Even if they do have that kind of mastery of steps as they just did over Mines, it's still a huge gamble, and there's no need for it right now, assuming they know what they're going to do besides that. And I'm very interested to see if this is kind of like we saw with 07, one map really mastered and under control, and maybe not so much on other ones, or does Eclipse have that kind of understanding all the way through the map pool?
Well, and even if they don't, right? Let's say that it was in this situation. Even if they didn't, they're now up 4-0 against Color Wanted. They're on offense. They might, they might pull out something crazy here. They might not. They just might go, hey guys, let's do our best. Let's do our strategies. We'll try to win. And if not, we're gonna be on defense, and we're very sure we can win there. So they have 2 defensive holds onto steps to pick up a 5th victory.
Tigers putting one shot into Aggressor and getting one shot back from, it looked like, Delph. Dr. Halo, meanwhile, on the move. Otherwise, he could have had a nice shot into Tigers' position. Looks like he's going to start setting up. And Tigers certainly...
Oh.
Never mind. I see where he is. The Artie can still reach up and over that, but somebody does have to take the risk to spot Tigers. Now, perhaps they're going to put a blind fire out, blind shot, but that is a questionable thing. The biggest thing for Tigers here is actually he's close to kind of a backstop. So if the shot hits generally in here, the splash will still very likely penetrate the side of his tank, depending on where it hits. So
Gotcha.
he is at risk, but there is a good amount of cover. Not a huge amount, but again, remember that Dr. Halo's shot is going to be coming from a lower elevation, which means it's going to be higher. The curve of it is going to be higher in the parabola, which means it's probably going to catch terrain. That's all I'm getting to. Not going to get all technical about it.
Sure.
Too late, already did.
Oh, yeah, geometry.
It's going to be a hard
okay.
shot. It's just basic geometry, basic angles.
Wow.
Dr. Halo doesn't have the elevation to get an accurate shot out. One shot out from Dr. Halo.
No connection.
I don't even see where that one went. It looks like Eclipse is taking a set of stood-off positions. It's trying to bait people towards Dark God Zim.
Man.
So they can get that damage. It's 684 on Fixer Reloaded's E5. Brilliant shooting coming out of Eclipse so far in this match. I would not be surprised. Dark God Zim is so far forward on the cap, it actually excludes number of angles of blind fire, forcing only the E5s to have proper angling, and anybody who kind of pops into that
They need to
ridge
send a guy up
directly
to
in front.
see him.
But I guarantee you Dark God Zim is sitting there in a camo
Here it
hat.
comes.
And he was.
Lemming Rush being
off.
sent forward.
He was never actually spotted, so that's an interesting decision on their part. Oh, I see.
Yeah,
We've got a fight coming out
yeah.
there in the bottom as Aggressors pushing into Tigers.
They saw also Lemming Rush now going into it. Let's go take a look what's happening there down in the south. It's an Object 140 against a Bat Chat. Let's see who's going to come on top. Aggressor is extremely low. He is only one shot down for that autoloader. There goes one right into the side. Tigers, who's now getting assistance, or who's now getting shot at from the rest of Call Wanted. Call Wanted finds this. Wow, just dodging barely the shot from Dr. Halo. I don't know if that was a little bit of splash damage or what, but Tigers, if he just sits here, he will be going down.
The time is right. 2 E5s are on the chopping block for Caller Wanted. If Eclipse can get in there and close around him with all this distraction Tigers is causing, they will win 5-0.
Let's see if they know what's going on right now, as Aggressor and Tigers are still just holding it out down there in the K7 position. No one wants to go through, but Lemming Rush taking a lot of damage in that T22. He is one more shot away from going down. Bumbleboy Carl now coming to join the fight. He fights Delph. He gets lit up there for 697. It looks like Dr. Halo, though, does fight Carl, or Tigers. Now Carl is by himself between Aggressor and Delph. This might be a catastrophic move on their part, and that is 2 tanks now down for Eclipse. Caller Wanted still has all 7. This is going to cause Eclipse to start pushing. The rest of Caller Wanted, though, just have to retreat to the rest of their team, and I might be able to hold this one out. Lemming Rush still is one more shot away. Eclipse giving up on that northern cap and just going to go for the fight. T1 Diabetic taking 706 points of damage there. We have Smiley Rage in such a clutch spot here for fights over on this eastern side, only taking 634 points of damage there in that T62A. There's 242. They're actually continuing to whittle him down very well. Bouncing a couple shots there, missing one. He misses his own. So he's firing down onto Eclipse. The HP-wise, though, is in favor of Eclipse. Wow, but Mort taking a good chunk of damage there in that 140. Looked like coming out from Dr. Halo.
Eclipse squandering a very important opportunity to pick up the E5s and allowing them to retreat into the bowl where they are now relatively safe. This is extremely favored towards Caller Wanted at this point. They are up on guns, but only 1,000 down on HP. The positional advantage is far more than enough that they need to be able to bring that back. And Dr. Halo now in a good position to start adding contributing damage. T1 Diabetic, if he keeps hanging out in this area, is going to get smashed by Dr. Halo relatively soon. Master Pupil's about to be lit. It's going to be aimed in the same area. Shot out from Dr. Halo. Any second now could crush either one of these guys.
There's 2, there's 3 going on to him. Let's see if Dr. Halo is going to take down Master Pupil. No, it's going to go. And, oh, T1 Diabetic and Smiley Rage with a nice cleanup right there. And eClipse, that looked like that was kind of their final chance, really their last hope to be going down. Smiley Rage just gonna start pushing, taking down Master Pupil, leaving just 3 members of eClipse alive to the 7 of Caller Wanted. So maybe the start of what we just saw eClipse do to Caller Wanted on to Mines.
Sure, that was incredibly close, and now eClipse gets their triad defense, and it's significantly harder to assault this map than it is to defend it.
True.
eClipse did have the opportunity they were looking for, but a number of questionable plays in the south squandered all of that, hanging around far too long and allowing Dr. Halo's artillery back into the fight, not to mention putting a T-22 in kind of a situation where he's going against a T-22 and a Bat Chat. It's just a rough set of calls there for eClipse. Caller Wanted taking advantage of all of that. And Magenta Panda moving up to start taking shots on Brett. Dark God Sim getting lit up for 658. Another 95 puts him in the grave as Smiley Rage picks him off. Delth going for Brett here to round this match out. Brett with 1 shot left. Delth picks it up. Caller Wanted puts their first point on the board.
Doing their best to try to stay alive. Again, this is their final chance. This the person who wins this, the team that picks up their 5 victories of this match, will be moving on to the live finals. Now, all that being said, and eClipse now losing on that one, possibly some questionable plays come up from them. I'm excited to see Brett's damage because I saw him just shot after shot. I feel like he was just left alone to just dish it out.
Well, let's go. Let's check it out.
Let's check out some stats.
For Clips, Brett with 1954, 1679 out of Bubble Boy Carl, 1600 out of Mort, 1600 out of Tigers, 1500 out of Master Pupil.
Not as much as I thought.
But for Caller Wanted, Delth with 3,500, Smiley Rage with 2,204 kills. Dr. Halo being given the opportunity to get in 7 whole shots. 1 with a penetrating shot, 3 splashes for 2125. 1,700 out of Fixer Reloaded, 1,600 out of Magenta Panda, 1,300 out of Aggressor, and only Lemming Rush struggling to find shots. There with 302.
So looking at kind of what the misplay was, right? Saying that team, like you said, you're kind of praising Tigers for tying up like 3 members.
Tying up 1, and as soon as the second one showed up,
it was like, go.
Easy win up top. You know everybody who's supporting him is not as high as the E5s were in that overall position. You could have even left the 1390 on cap and pushed every other tank you have, all 5 of them, over the top and just picked off E5, and then back down. That's the key, is you don't need everything. You don't want to keep flowing down the eastern side.
Right.
But if you can make people poke in that one place where we typically see E5s, you've got any sort of engagement in the south. You've got a good mismatch, especially with cap pressure. The E5s can't leave it alone for too long.
Okay.
You get in there, you get a quick pick on them. They're tall. Once you get their side angles, you kill them. Actually, mediums are more of a threat when you push into that area because they're low to the ground.
Okay.
And the side
A lot
shots
of
aren't
dips
easy to
and
hit.
areas in there.
E5s are more of a threat when you're at a distance. So you get in close, you get around them, take out at least 1 E5, back down, triple that cap
Just do it
pressure.
again.
Could be GG, but either way, it's a hard call. It's a very close set, and there's a lot of pressure when you're looking at that final point.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Caller Wanted now eClipse trying to find it with their 1 on defense. Can they do it, or can Caller Wanted keep it alive? Let's go right into it and take a look at what we've got. 4 tanks.
Caller Wanted with an E5, 2 140s, an STB, 2 T22s, and an AMX 1390. Apologies, that was eClipse. Caller Wanted with 2 E5s, a Bat Shadow 140, 2 T22s, and the M40, M43 on offense this time. Significantly more in favor of a Tier 8 artillery on offense than I am on defense. But Dr. Halo finding his shots last time. Hard to say how critical some of them were. Obviously, the shot on Tigers was pretty much game-winning by itself.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. So
you got to make mistakes to allow an artillery to have that kind of shot to begin with. Tigers getting boosted by Eclipse.
All right. It looks like it's a right call. It's Caller Wanted.
Oh no. There's a bad shot. Aggressor coming in hot
no.
from the southern side. Could see all of this.
This is going to be a huge bunch of information coming out from them. And there it is. They are spotted up and starting to take fire. This is something we have not seen all season. eClipse being whittled down, and Tigers will be falling. It looks like just one more shot. Aggressor takes him out there in the back chat, and he is going to be able to run away and live. Caller Wanted already finding that tank early on. A detrimental loss for eClipse.
Gotta say, it's usually categorically not a great idea to spend time boosting when there's an artillery on the map. One, it's got a good cluster shot on everybody else. Two, whoever you get up there is
Not
hit by
safe.
artillery. So
Right.
you want to take advantage of them lacking that other tank and try and take up as much map control as possible. But conversations for another time. Another shot out of Dr. Halo. Certainly not laying off these. He's just going to keep cranking them out, trying to do that soak damage. Caller Wanted already has a 1 tank advantage, 2,000 HP on the board.
All right, man. If they can pick up this victory, which they're looking good to right now, they'll be going back on defense. That'll give them possibly a 3rd victory, and this could be slipping away. But again, eClipse just needs one more. They are definitely not out of the woods yet. They've been performing on such a huge level all night.
Look at how Aggressor decided to protect his artillery. Instead of babysitting it all the way over there in the west, they did an aggressive push into the east. As soon as they made contact, he just took the middle, and anybody who crossed by him there in the middle was going west. Easy. Brilliant positioning to guarantee the same types of things that other people typically don't do as efficiently as that. Bubble Boy Carl taking 329.
Now taking that in that object 140, you guys can see Master Pupil getting lit up, and Aggressor is actually going to finish him off there from the center. That is what you call focus fire, ladies and gentlemen. And now the damage is on to more at 1130 in that 140. So much hurt. So much
Dr.
hurt.
Halo had to have added in 900 of that on that E5. A brilliant shot from him. It's Caller Wanted getting a relatively easy cleanup here. Pretty much everybody from eClipse is in a kill zone area. Caller Wanted is just getting it one piece at a time. Dr. Halo almost done reloading, and Aggressor also loading his clip right now. Looking for some easy shots on probably Bubble Boy Carl, perhaps Dark God Zim, but either way, Caller Wanted going to put on a little bit of cap pressure with a 6,000 hit point advantage to draw
not
Clips
bad.
back into that critical fight zone. Not going to play any games with this.
No, not at all. They still have 7 members up as well, so looking great to be able to take this one, making it 4-2 against eClipse. They want to keep it alive. They want this just as bad as anyone else here. And Dark God Zim now getting lit up in the center in that 1390. One more shot from Aggressor. He should be going down. 27 seconds on the clock. Cap pressure being applied, map pressure being applied, gun pressure, HP pressure. Everything is looking good for Caller Wanted as Delth takes down Carl there. And that is another tank falling. The Object 140 now gone for eClipse. Aggressor might be going down here to Dark God and Brett, possibly, unless he just pushes against Dark God right now and takes him down, which it looks like that's no, what he's trying to do. Yep.
Doesn't get the elevation if he drives that far up on the side. Aggressor taking 336 from the north side. Brett and Aggressor getting trolled by Dark God Zim to tie him up, but unfortunately that's probably too little too late for eClipse as Caller Wanted. 0 seconds left on the clock. They're going to put another point in their win column.
Congratulations to them for picking up now their 2nd victory here. On to Steps, making it 4-2 against eClipse. Possibly the comeback. I mean, eClipse did it to them. They just might as well do it right back. We'll be seeing that as the kind of the game continues. That initial pick was it. I mean, that was it. You already lost a tank. You took some damage on the rest of them. Caller Wanted found that, continued. I mean, and still, like you said, praising them for plays even within that. So not just taking that and going like, great, let's now just find them, but like even being aggressive with the back chat in the center, guarding the artillery in a very aggressive way.
If you're going to do a boost of that nature at all, you definitely need to send somebody into the southern half to guarantee that's not going to happen to you. And even then, you got to be super concerned about an artillery dropping into there. You got to know the load time of the M40, M43, etc. Let's go ahead and take a look at those stats right now. For eClipse, only T1 Diabetic breaking 1,000 with 1335. Just an absolutely brutal game for them.
Yeah.
Not getting a word in edgewise as Caller Wanted just pushed him all around. Aggressor with 2,200 out of his bad shot. 1973 out of Dr. Halo. 4 shots, 1 hit, 1 pennant, 3 splash. One of those shots was a double splash for a grand total of 800 on that cluster unit. If that had been a body contact from that angle where it's almost flat, we'll get into that in a second. Victor reloaded with 1,700, 1,600 out of Delph, 1,300 out of Magenta Panda. So if that tank is going uphill, this is kind of the rear of the engine deck and the roof, and you've got a perpendicular contact with an artillery.
Right in.
The HE is very likely going to penetrate the tank and detonate inside, which will one-shot the tank. This kills the tank very, very often. If that had happened, that could have been a completely different battle. It would have already. It already was.
Right.
A rough battle for Eclipse, but it would have just been
over.
One tank dead.
Because here's the thing, and also that tank goes down. The rest of them are trying to help by pushing up. Are stuck.
Well, especially if it's one of the bottom tanks, absolutely. Then they gotta take damage when they slide down. Plus, Aggressor can put his Bat-Chat clip into them.
Either way, a brutal game for Eclipse. Colorado picking up their second victory. They're now on defense. Try and make it 3. Keep it alive. Eclipse just needs one more. Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for tanks.
4 Eclipse, 2 140s, 907, 2 T22s, a 62A, and an AMX 1390 for Caller 1 and 2 E5s. A Bat-Chat, 2 T22s, a 62A, and an M40, M43 again. Trying to take it to the fight. Take the fight to them as fast as possible. Eclipse, if you want to get around that M40, M43's impact. But looks like they're going to go for maybe a repeat of what they did last time, but plan on doing it better when you do see the kind of opportunities we were discussing, and you expect that to happen again if you do the same strategy.
It's like, great, we're going to
go
exploit
ahead and do the same strategy, and you've already got a pre-built-in solution. You always have to be worried about the enemy team also making observations and also learning and coming up with their own new game plan if they see the same thing again. So, as we've discussed many times before, almost everything you do is a two-way street here.
Yeah.
Intelligence received,
Most
intelligence
everything.
given. Shot opportunities in both directions a lot of time. It's just a balance of what you're trading for what you're getting, and a shot out from Dr. Halo makes contact with no one.
I was like, whoa, what? Gotcha. Now, obviously, those all being blind fires, no one being lit up. Guys, again, just a quick reminder, if you see the names of the tanks and the players flash yellow, that means that they have been spotted. The enemy can now see where they're at in their position. You can also look at the mini-map to see if there's a little kind of like a broken up square in between or on around the tank icon there in the mini-map. So if no one was spotted on Eclipse, the shot from Dr. Halo just being some blind fire, looking for maybe just some typical positions that the offense would go. We'll see what Eclipse can now do.
Got to spend a lot of time gathering intel. This is not an easy turtle to break overall. Find some way of taking out that M40, M43, especially if they're going to cap. It's just a lot of different variables at play here, and Eclipse is looking a little bit timid to get any sort of real motion going on. Now, finally starting to get some out of a T22 there in the middle. And Brett.
He's under fire. He's not spotted.
It's pre-fire into a place that almost every team goes to.
Yeah.
Now that Fixer Reloaded has been spotted, they've got even more intel that might happen. One shot coming out onto Fixer Reloaded from very deep.
From Mort.
Down the D line. Mort and Master Pupil sending shots in there. Not sure which one connected.
Brett in that position where he's at, guys, we see a lot of things going the A2. That was last time, David, where he was just able to fire down upon these U5s, whittling him, and they weren't even spotting him, which was so interesting to me because that's usually, we don't see that. We usually see them being spotted out themselves when they take the shot, but Brett somehow just remaining invisible through it all.
There's a lot of angles that you can take up once you figure them out to capitalize on that spotting. And E5 does have to turn its turret to a certain degree, so you will get at least a few through. Magenta Panda taking one shot there. And not much else happening.
Tiger's in a different position wisely than he was last time. Aggressor going up on top of the hill to try to find him, not seeing him. So that's got to be some misinformation coming up for Caller Wanted. Fixer Reloaded, taking a good chunk of damage there in that E5. But Aggressor now where he's at, firing upon Bumper Carl, who is now, he's still unspotted. So Bumper Carl taking 2 shots there on that T22 from Aggressor's Bat-Chat, but he is just clipped and just in time for Tigers to find out where he's at. So now this Bat-Chat is in some trouble. He has no way of fighting back with 2 shots into him. 293 going to that Bat-Chat there. Tigers possibly has him dead to rights. He's actually not going to be super aggressive. He's just going to make sure he gets that Bat-Chat wheel down. Aggressor now falling below half health. What an awful time.
It's a cautious play there, but Tigers now knows that Aggressor went into a set of rocks that he can't really escape from, so Tigers should be able to at least lock him out or get that pick later, but he doesn't have to. He could group up with the rest of his team and push a 7 on whatever there in the northeastern side. Just going to let him off that hook. It'll be probably a little bit frustrating for Tigers when he comes back and realizes that Aggressor is playing so forward with no backstop. It's a very uncommon thing to do, so teams often convince themselves that it's a trap and leave.
Right.
And it's always irritating when you go back and look.
No!
Like, why would he be all the way up here?
Right.
By himself?
Right.
But it happens.
I'm kind of talking about just when you play against an opponent, sometimes by the opponent not doing what you expect them to do is such a great thing for them. And just you can start getting yourself into that head games. Bellboy Carl in that T22 right in the almost center of the map there, sitting in F4. Just taking a shot, 329 from the side, doing a little bit of damage himself. And now he's starting to back off. He used that repair kit. He is now going down. 95 seconds on the clock. eClipse now applying some cap pressure here. As you guys can see on your screen, Aggressor is lit up. Master Pupil and Tigers there coming to join him. Master Pupil taking not fire. It's actually Tigers taking a shot there, 347. But they've got to be careful. This is what Dr. Halo did to him last time.
Tigers is going to wrap around pretty soon here. Maybe it's going to be Mort. Somebody needs to get in and guarantee Aggressor has no place to go. There's another shot coming out from Delth into Tigers. Another shot from Master
Dr.
Pupil
Halo
going into Delth. And Master Pupil now barely getting splashed by that artillery. That should be the cue that they need. And eClipse taking it very, very slow in a guaranteed kill situation. I'm not sure why.
Just maybe that pressure of the playoffs, not wanting to throw anything, but at some point you just got to be confident or this could happen to you. Mort takes down Aggressor. Master Pupil was getting extremely low. I thought for a moment that he was going to be going down here. 2 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock. Dark God Zim now being pulled off of the cap for eClipse. They just want to find the fight right now. Delth one more shot away. Bellboy Carl looking for that one against the T22. No, he actually fires north against the other T22. Who was driven by Delth now going down. Tigers picking that one up. 2 tanks gone. 4 caller wanted, and eClipse has tried to turn this into their victory, their 5th victory of the night. And if they can, ladies and gentlemen, they are going to the live finals in Vegas, February 27th, at a shot for $75,000. T1 Diabetic takes down Lemming Rush. Magenta Panda taking down Bubbleboy Carl. Caller wanted still in this fight. The HP not too far, but gun-wise, 6 tanks on the side of eClipse, just 5. Now actually 4 on Caller wanted, with Smiley Rage finding that one, Smiley Rage finding that one on that T62A. Possibly looking a lot better for Caller wanted to come back. This one, Brett just going far into the east, trying to take down Fix Reloaded here. He is sick and tired of the games. He wants to win right now. T1 Diabetic finding a kill. Smiley Rage, though, in a great spot to stop everything eClipse is doing. They only have 1 minute and 15 seconds to find these remaining tanks. A nice shot missing there for eClipse will guarantee them finding Magenta Panda, but Smiley Rage takes down Mort. Brett finishing him off. It is now a 3v2. Caller wanted could come back from this. Dr. Halo now going just straight tank destroy mode, and that is gonna be eClipse set on edge. If that shell connects to any one of them, it is gonna be game over for eClipse here, as Smiley Rage doing a great job in that dry knit spot we've seen last season. Brett, though, gonna come around the side, takes a shot at a Dr. Halo, but Smiley Rage finishes him off. It is now a 2v2. Caller wanted. Looks like they will be able to stay alive. It's a T62A against M43, but the cap pressure for Dark God Zim is being applied. This is eClipse's last chance to find this one for this battle. Can they do it? 12 seconds on the clock. T1 Diabetic just needs to hold off Smiley Rage here, and he should be able to guarantee his team has a victory. Smiley Rage not caring about him at all, but he's going to have a shot from the back. Let's see if he can find it. No, it doesn't connect. He shoots a Dark God Zim. He misses. It's going to be on Dr. Halo, but it's all over. The cap goes down to 0. eClipse picks up their 5th and final victory here, going into the live finals. Congratulations to them. Now just one more spot remains. I did not think they actually had that at the end.
Great discipline by Dark God Zim, not firing and losing his position and getting so lucky.
My goodness.
Baby Halo and the 907 weren't able to find those blind fires into the cap area.
He tracked him at the end too.
Well, yeah, so that was deliberate. The T22 there.
Well done.
That was T1 Diabetic. T1 Diabetic tracked the 62A Smiley Rage there on purpose.
So he couldn't get the spot.
Because that's more important than killing him.
Right.
Because if he gets the spot, he might not have enough time to go get the counter kill, all that kind of thing. 1390 was perhaps too late on cap or not in the fight enough. Is a weird middle ground that left things a little bit open. So a little bit of rough edges there for eClipse, but a nice way to bring it back.
Well
Let's
done.
go ahead and round out that match's stats.
Do it.
Over for Smiley Rage, 2,800. Magenta Panda, 2,700. 1,900 out of Delth, 1,700 out of Dr. Halo, 1,600 out of Fixer Reloaded, and 1.1 out of Aggressor. Meanwhile, for eClipse, 3,500 out of T1 Diabetic, 2,400 out of Mort, 2,300 for Tigers, 2,200 for Brett, and everybody else falling below 1,000.
Well done again. Congratulations to eClipse. We will be seeing you in Vegas for the finals. And now that closes out our third match of the night. Before we go to break, guys, it's time for another question. So, Quinn, what do we got?
Well, Christian, third match, 3 questions.
Oh.
All right. They are from Audi Murphy, T1, and Puck Chaser. Question number 1. Are the announcers actually wearing pants behind that desk?
No.
Yes.
Question number 2. Where does Nagatron get his 3-piece suits? He's always looking so nice.
That's a good question. You'd have to ask my butler, Tim.
Yes, Tim's definitely an important one. And finally, Christian, how long does it take you to do your hair for match night?
Including the scientific method, technically 8 hours.
All right. Well, there you have it. There's your questions. There's your answers. That's all the questions that we have for tonight. Christian, back to you.
All right, guys. And again, the third match is done. Congratulations to eClipse. Now there is only one more spot available for the finals, and it's between High Voltage or Rival. Do not go anywhere. The fourth and final match of the playoffs is coming right up.
Hey guys, it's Summing, and today we're going to be